This is another episode of Conversations with Marlon. I'm Marlon Bankston, the host, lead guitar player. I'm just a guitar player in the corner. Been playing forever, been around Kansas City and playing in other states outside of the city. And during this pandemic period, I thought it would be a good idea to bring on some very important people in the music scene in Kansas City and elsewhere. Today, our spotlight is going on Terri Burns of Californos of Westport, helping a lot of bands get out there and great bands, great music. And brother Eddie Moore, pianist, jazz, local Kansas City musician. And we're going to get into some more information about both these guys. And let me first ask Eddie first, your background in music. How did that start? What's going on there? What's your history?
I guess I started playing piano from my mom wanted me to play. She put me in private lessons very young. I got into jazz later in life. Went to college for that in Houston, where I was raised. It moved me to Kansas City, where I went to grad school at UMKC, and after graduating, I've just been on the scene and touring a lot and writing a whole bunch of music and playing on different bands and just kind of soaking it up.
Okay, Terri, talk about how you got into the music scene, the restaurant scene, the entertainment. Tell us your background. What's going on there?
I'm like I started off as a waiter in the Levee when we did Dixieland, the real deal back in I think it was 1972, and I was
Okay.
I was just enthralled with it, and I did really well. I had I got $5 a dance, and people would pay you to dance with their wives or 21-year-old daughters or anniversaries, and I got to know all the music and ring the bell and hook the siren, and I loved it. Anyway, I ended up getting into opening up a little jazz club at the Levee years later after it changed hands a couple of times. I came back to it, and I had a really good experience. 6 nights a week, 5 bands a week, the same one on Monday as on Saturday, and we did some great entertainment, all kinds of entertainment, including really good jazz. That's where I met Rich Hill, and Rich and I kind of over the years, shared a lot of music. And then I got into the food business because I wanted to be able to support the jazz and the music. I knew I couldn't do it with music, so I got into the food business by running the Prospect of Westport's Kitchen. And we weren't doing a lot of music at the Prospect, but I learned how to put together and run a really high-end restaurant. And so I did. I built Californos, and Californos, everything just came together at Californos. We did Battle of the Bands. We did everything from drag to opera at Californos. We had at least 12 different stages I could work with. And the wedding business supported all of it. People would come in and pay me really good money to get married there. I used the same stage to get married on as I put the outdoor acts on. And so the wedding business paid for it all. So it's just like a really big successful thing for me. And that's where I met Ross. We did open mics. We did open mics inside and out, which is fun. We did those big ballets. We put the Westport Ballet on every summer, 3 nights. So anyway, I just can't imagine it being any better than it was.
So how did the name Californos come about?
Well, I heard the name. I heard the word, the way it's pronounced, Californos, and it came out of the book, The Blue and the Gray. The Blue and the Gray was a story about Lincoln sending some troops out to California, and they ended up calling the Californios. And I just liked it the way it sounded, and I wanted to do something that would take you out of town, and I wanted to give you something that you'd ask me why, and I wanted to do indoor, outdoor, and I wanted to do California cuisine. So Californios And I was fortunate because we dropped the I out of the word so that people wouldn't be pronouncing it like a gringo, because gringos would say Californios. It's actually Californos. The I is silent. So we took it out, and that ended up being like genius because when the internet came along, that was the only word like that. I
Mm-hmm.
I would Google Kelly's Bar, and you'd get to 16 pages before you'd find Westport. If you Google
Mm-hmm.
Californios in any search engine, there it was.
Mm.
So that was great. It was good. It was good for promoting, and it was a good piece.
How
I
was
got the
it
racing.
working in the Westport area? I mean, the association, the other businesses, were they very supportive of Californos at the time you were there?
I'd say so. You know, we were there for so long that the neighborhood really changed while we were there.
Yeah.
When we first opened up, we had a 4-star review, and we ended up on a front page of a magazine, and we were doing valet, and so we were valeting for the Prospect of Westport and Californos, and oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the restaurant. I moved to the Plaza. Anyway, we were they all had 4 stars, and so the whole neighborhood was about really good dining. And I had Crisscross on the piano, and my whole music scene was just Crisscross on the piano, and my deck scene, and then whatever bands would come in for weddings. I hadn't had that built the jazz club yet, and for years we were like that. It was like a restaurant scene
Yeah.
turned into being a really open mic music scene.
Yeah. Hmm. When did Californos it closed its doors, correct?
Yes, it's closed. Closed in
Yeah.
May
When
of
did that happen? What year was
May
that?
May 2019.
Of 2019. That's not too long ago at all. Wow.
This year
Are
is
you
20.
do you have plans to come back or bring out another venue together once all the COVID thing stuff clears up and everything gets back to normal?
No, I don't think I'm ever going to be in the restaurant business again. It's so complicated, and it took me my whole life to get to that point, and I
Uh-huh.
can't replicate it. Um, I'm kind of more interested now in how we're going to come out of this COVID thing and be different, and how we're going to change this planet. I'm more, right now I'm kind of interested in that. What my grandkids' lives are going to be like, and how we're going to take advantage of this situation we're in, because we're in a situation right now that's changing a lot of things, and some of the things that we were doing before we don't really need to go back to,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to clean up our act a little bit, but it certainly doesn't have to do with jazz. I mean, that that needs to be back strong,
Yeah.
because we need to be more entertainment oriented and less worried about the market.
Yeah. Yeah. That brings you in back in, Eddie. So how has the COVID pandemic affected your career?
Um, Man, there's so much to that. Um, where do I start? I've been teaching a lot privately as I've to working as well as like performing. So for me, teaching has been a main thing that has stepped up in the forefront as far as work. So I'm very blessed in the fact that a lot of my lessons have moved to online. At first, I guess it's been 2 months now. So when it first happened, it was really difficult to see how that would work out. I play piano, so it's like, how do you teach piano virtually now? The view of, students I teach a lot of students from like the age of 7 to like full adult, a lot of different things. So, like, how do people learn like that? And so it took me a minute and a little bit of experimenting to get my style with it, and just learn the technology. And it was a rush because it's like, oh man, like, I have to pay my bills, and this has to all switch over and keeping up with that. But it's, I like challenges personally, and I just kind of went, you know, all in with that, and it's been working out all right. I also moved into I had been building a creative studio for mainly rehearsals, and it's attached to an art gallery, so I'd be able to do rehearsals and kind of do some performances. But now, it's switched over to where I pretty much work out of here every day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's worked as a blessing in disguise for me because a couple of things happened on our new project where I got stuck with all the production, and then I used the last 2 months to, go all the way in on that and learn how to
Mm-hmm.
produce and learn how to add, and work in that and that aspect of music, which was completely new to me. So in the last, I think our new project, we've been working on our project for a couple of years where we, did the pre-production on it, and then we went and recorded everything live, and then now you sit with this music and you try to take it somewhere you never have. So I think I've produced like 9 tracks in the last 3 weeks, and then it's gone to mixing and mastering, and then I'm just putting together like the marketing plan for that and the rollout for what an album is going to be like in 2020, which right now is all digital. Like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
looking at getting physical copies. I'm not printing CDs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little different, but it's been, like I said, kind of like a blessing in disguise because I would never have the time to sit here and learn all this stuff because I
Mm-hmm.
would be doing gigs and then I would be playing with other people and my time would just be split in a lot of different ways. So, and the whole streaming aspect and getting back into the live performing thing has been just crazy. It's combined with not being able to buy the gear that you need to say stream multi cameras like how you want
Yeah.
and buy webcams and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see where the music industry is going and doing all that. But I've definitely been staying creative. I've done some collaborative videos where I'm playing with the big band, with Marcus Lewis Big Band, which is a group from Kansas City, and we've been playing a lot of originals by Marcus and arrangements and stuff, which have been great. They've been really fun. To see the audience react to them in the way that they have, and the viewership has been awesome. And I mean, the potential is to reach more people. So we can, by that, like, if I were to take the stage here and stream, I could reach like way more people than in person. So that's
Mm-hmm.
there. It's just different, when you're not actually spreading vibrations with people.
Mm-hmm.
The reaction is different for them, but same thing, stay creative. I've been into computer music already, so this is just
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity to dive deep in that and learn. I've been learning a lot.
When your audiences hear you play, who are they? Who are the influences? Who are they actually hearing as the influence?
Honestly, from what people tell me, they say me. They don't really know. Of course, there's a little bit of, Herbie and Chick, and then I've heard a lot of people say, not George, Crusaders. I know this. Joe Sample, and
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. I mean, I think it's more of the timbres in which I play with as a pianist. I'm usually on Fender Rhodes and synth as well as piano instead of just like classic piano trio. But a lot of them
But
say
did
they've
but did
never
but
heard
did
any.
but did you listen to those people? Who did you listen to? Who
Oh,
when
okay,
you first started
that's
playing?
a different thing.
Well, I'm
Um,
saying that because as a guitar player, I have my own. I believe I have my own distinct individual sound. Doesn't sound like anybody else. But what
right,
brought the evolution that brought me to that was I heard someone else that inspired me to
for
play,
sure.
and I sat down and figured out how they played. And so, if somebody really was a technical, could pick it out, they say, "Oh, I recognize that lick. That lick came from so and so." That's what I'm
For
asking. So, who
okay.
was your influence?
My influences, when it comes strictly to piano, I mean, it starts with Oscar Peterson, Wynton Kelly. I like Sonny Kirk a lot. I like a lot of Herbie. I listen to a lot of modern pianists actually. So I mean, Robert Glasper,
Mm-hmm.
Jason Moran, Aaron Parks. I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
fan of Gerald Clayton.
Mm-hmm.
But I have, we all have the same traditional older influences. So I really love Wynton Kelly
Mm-hmm.
and I really love Thelonious Monk too. I've probably
Mm-hmm.
been
Mm-hmm.
listening to Monk more recently. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it just depends. There's a lot in that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Um, what do you, Terry? Back to you. what do you project is going to be the ultimate scene, and how will Kansas City music scene come back? Do you ever think about or envision, or do you have a prediction of how that would be, what that would look like?
Well, I think it's going to be kind of multiplex kind of thing, because the all this what Eddie was just talking about, that'll get incorporated into the jazz clubs, and you'll be able to go see live entertainment and know that the big screens are up, and you can see what you want. I mean, I think that it's such a big investment for everybody in the music scene that it has to kind of come together in a little bigger way. And but there's always going to be those, the dark bar intimate scene with the guy in the back room. There's always going to be that. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that now, we've been forced to move past live, and the video's not going to go away, and the live's not going to go away either. So they have to come together somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting that you said that too, though, Terry. Like, like how the jazz clubs will adapt to live streaming and doing all and presenting music to audience like that, which is true. I also see it as an independent musician where it's going to take them a minute to get there when the musicians are there immediately. So what does that do now for the musicians that say the club situation wasn't everything they wanted it to be? Now I don't have to leave my house and I have the audience that's tuning into my channel
That's right.
and I'm streaming from my own stage. So like I might not need to, I might not need to play now. And
Yeah.
I think it evened things out a lot for musicians. And while we love to play live, we also get wrapped into a situation where we're in less control and we also have to do what we're told when the music's not jazz specifically isn't really about that. So it's been interesting to look at, to see where the future and the potential of that is as well.
Yeah. Well, the live scene, it is the public's demand. They want to be together. They want to see music. And you're right, club owners have taken advantage of musicians because musicians needed to perform. And so even part of what I was doing was, like I said, open mic. I provide the stage, you guys give me the gift, and the
Right.
public's the winner. I never necessarily won, and I don't think you guys did either, but we certainly created a scene, and that scene thing was always going to be in demand.
For
It's
sure.
always going to need to be that. But now musicians have another way. Instead of the record companies, everybody's their own record company now. Everybody's their own producer, just like you said, and that will show up in the jazz world in terms of the clubs. Because look at the sports bars. Look how it is. I mean, you can look at anything. Now this is listening, but everybody walks around with these earphones on all the time. I mean, it's crazy. I can't even go for a bike ride with somebody and talk to them because they're listening to a pod. So everybody's in their own little world, but they still want to rub shoulders, and musicians still want to get an applause. So
That's right.
it'll evolve into that. I think.
Yeah, I definitely think it's. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say my 2 cents of a vision is that it may come to venues will split into different mini shows, and so if they booked a band to a show, they'll play the 5 o'clock, 5:30 to 6:30 show. There'll be a short break. Then the next set of audience comes in that meets the whatever the requirement is for the amount of people that can be inside the building. Then you do that show, and then instead of us coming in playing 3-hour and 4-hour gigs, it'll just be divided up over an evening into smaller shows, and that venues will charge more price wise because people will get to the point that they really want to see live entertainment. And so I think that's what I think. I don't know.
You're
We'll
talking
see.
about in response to COVID, how
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, if COVID's totally lifted, give us 2 years and COVID's not an issue anymore, hopefully,
Yeah.
then it's just the technology that we picked up along the way, forced to pick up, merging with the live stuff. So
Yeah.
it could be
I mean,
like that.
2 years of no live performances, as you know what I mean. Like that's a totally different world as an independent artist. Like right now, it's like a fire sale for independent artists. Like there's so much power in our hands. Like I think, you know, maybe even we don't even know what to do with it because, like, as we say, venues, it's like, for what? We don't, like, especially as a pianist, it's different for me because I can't bring my own instrument to the gig. So there's a
Yeah,
whole nother layer of things that one like me would have to deal with. When we're talking touring, for sure. But it's
yeah,
like, why do I need to tour if we got the studio set up with all the gear I would need? It sounds great through the stream, multi cameras. And then you're in control of your own platform, which I think is something that we've never really had unless you were a musician who owned a venue. You never had control of your platform. And so that changes a lot from us. Like, it's like straight direct to the fans, straight direct, no one's in the way. There's no third person. There's no reason for venue. Like, and then it becomes the only venues that will be doing what we're talking about are the ones who think they have a bigger audience to attract musicians to share that brand. It becomes a brand
Mm-hmm.
partnership thing. But if you're an artist
Mm-hmm.
and in the independent world, you've been building your brand, usually the way that the venues have been, it's like we're the ones promoting harder to bring the people there for the most part. And if that's the case, then we get to keep 100% of everything, and therefore you won't even need them. And that changes the dynamic between now a venue maybe wanting to partner with your setup or stream, you know what I mean, as a stream, because you just have the audience and they're realizing that they don't have it. That's digital, that's email list, that's not physical flyers. It's a totally different world. And even 6 months of that, even 2 months of that has changed everything. But 6 months of that, like if we don't start playing until 2021, whoa, that does a lot. That
Hey,
is a lot.
you know,
in the minute, a little bit over a minute that I have remaining, let me ask a question. How did you two meet?
Huh. I actually met Terri playing at Californo's and I think one of my reggae bands. We used to play the patio all the time, and I
you
was
played
always
for
around.
77 Jefferson. You played for
Yeah. I played with 77. And over the time, I mean, I moved from Houston, I moved to Westport. I've always lived in Westport. So Californo's was like a place that we ate all the time. It was a place where we hung out and played music all the time. And I've played there with every band I've been in.
so I remember that the issue in some magazine,
Yeah. And so we became
and
closer friends after that,
I
for
was like
sure.
determined to provide a place for Eddie because I thought they were so wrong,
Yeah. And so yeah,
anybody
Terry
that was
gave us a place to start a
to do
new
it.
jazz scene, and we've
Yeah,
been, ever since.
it was a sweet little
Okay.
club too. Yeah. Anyway, I was
Okay.
going to make a point, but there might not be
Yeah.
time. But the
How
point
many?
would be between
Yeah. Go ahead.
recording, performing, and entertaining. And I have my son's an opera singer, and I had to really teach him the difference between performing and entertaining. And that's a point for you, Eddie. Is like it's like you guys can do all the recording and the performance is wonderful, but can you do that? Does that fulfill your entertainment needs? Because I'm not sure it does for the customer because the customer likes to see you and touch you and know you. And like I'm out with Mike all the time. Mike knows every musician that walks in the club,
Right.
and that's a big thing. Anyway,
No,
three
you're
three
right.
things.
You're absolutely right. And we have to try to be as personal as we can digitally, but I don't think it'll ever fulfill the in the room. Vibrations in the room moving you is completely different.
Yeah.
But,
It'll
right
get
now that's all we have.
yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm the optimist. I'm not saying this is not optimistic, but I believe that we will get past this and things will somehow settle back into a new normal. And I look forward to that day. And so I look forward to seeing you out there in the scene, looking at your streamings, Eddie.
For sure.
Terri, um, bless you for all that you've done for musicians and for Californos and the music scene, the Westport area, all that you've done. You are greatly appreciated. You're an icon. and want to
I
thank you
got to
very
do
much
it.
for
It
that.
was, that was something I got to do. That was
Man, I loved it. We were there till the last day.
Okay, well, this has
good to see
been
you, Marlon.
okay, good to see you too. This is Terry Burns and Eddie Moore, and we are signing off for Conversations with Marlon. Thanks for viewing in. We'll talk to you later.